guys, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we have my August TBR. So as always, we are going to be starting off with the 52 reading challenges cards. I feel like I've been getting a little bit behind in these this year because most of the months I've been picking out 4 cards. However, I know in order to complete this year, some of the months have to be 5 cards, and I just don't think I've been doing that enough, so we are going to be picking out 5 cards this month. And the first one says to read a book with a dress on the cover. For this one, I will be going with A Prince on Paper by Alyssa Cole. This is the 3rd book in the Reluctant Royals series. I actually think there's only 3 major novels, but there are a couple short stories in here as well. And I've actually been reading this series 1 book a month for the last couple months, so this is the last one I need to get to. I have been really enjoying this series, even though they're not a full 5 stars for me. However, this book here is going to follow Naya as our main female character, and seeing her even small interactions with our main character in the last book, I have a feeling that Naya is going to be one of my favorites. She seems to be a sort of gamer that plays like Otomi games and that kind of stuff as well, so I'm just very much here for it. And then we also follow Johan, who is like the red-headed stepchild prince thing, so I'm just, again, very, very excited for this. I'm a little bit sad that this is like the last major book in this series. However, I do still want to get to the short stories as well. Okay, next. Read a book with a number in the title. Okay. For this one, I'm going to be going with Hope Volume 1, Mother. I know this is a little bit of a stretch, but I just really, really want to get to this one. This is a graphic novel that I had kickstarted by Dirk Manning and Kaylin Smith. Kaylin Smith is the illustrator for this graphic novel, and that is the main reason I actually funded this. I have been loving Kaylin Smith's work, and I even read For Goodness Sake, which was a Kickstarter that she wrote and illustrated 2 months ago. I believe that was in June. Absolutely love that, so I have high hopes for this one. This one, though, deals with superheroes. I don't know much else about it because I have forgotten, but I'm very excited to get to it. Read a book without a dust jacket. Well, I mean, this should be easy with paperbacks, right? For this one, I'm going with Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdez. This is one of those books that I actually had mentioned in my mid-year book freakout tag about how I need to read this before the end of the year. I am so excited. I bought this purely because of the cover. I mean, look at this gorgeousness. And also we have cats in space. One there, one down here. I, again, don't know too much about this, but I will read you the blurb on the back that really brought me into it, and that's the reason I need to read this. Imagine if Firefly and Mass Effect got together and had a baby, and that baby were delivered by Guillermo del Toro. This book is that baby. I mean, Firefly, Mass Effect, 2 of my loves. I am so excited to read this. Our author is also Cuban American, and I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that this is also Own Voices for that, so I am super, super excited. Okay, couple more. Read a crossover book, so a book meant for adult or middle grade, but appeals to YA. For this one, I'm going with Frogkisser by Garth Nix. I am not entirely sure exactly what age group this is for. I purchased this myself when I used to work at a K-8 school during their like scholastic book fair, so that to me means this is more likely than not middle grade because the oldest kids at that school were like going on 13. And I double checked on Goodreads and it has been shelved as both middle grade and young adult, and the reason I thought of this one almost right away is because there was an Instagram account that I will put the link down below. I can't remember what it exactly was called, but it talks a lot about YA books, and it releases like the cover releases and new synopses and like when new books come out. And it was talking about like fairy tale retellings, and this was one of the books mentioned in that post, but I had bought it thinking it was middle grade. So because of the fact that nobody can seem to actually decide if this is middle grade or YA, I think this works. And from what I understand, this is going to be sort of like a retelling of The Princess and the Frog. I absolutely love the cover, which is the whole reason I bought it. It's not super long, so I think this is going to have to work. Okay, one more. Read a book over 600 pages. Okay, so for this one, I'm going with Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. This is a book that I have been seeing so many people absolutely love, and I purchased it when it was on sale for a few dollars on Kindle. So I have the ebook version of it. I think I checked on Goodreads and it's like 650 pages, so definitely over 600. And I'm just very, very excited for this. This is some sort of self-published, epic Asian-inspired fantasy that I don't know much about. I heard there is some good like parent-mother stuff that goes on in there, which I'm very intrigued by. But also, when I tell you that every single one of my friends on Goodreads that has actually read this gave it 5 stars, every single one, I am very intrigued. I'm going to try and keep my expectations low just in case, but apparently everybody loves it and I'm very excited to read it. Okay, so those are all the 52 reading challenges books that I'm going to pick out. However, August was supposed to be the month for newts. Now, with JKR being a transphobe and all that kind of stuff, I do not want to support Harry Potter and promote that on this channel. However, G from Book Roast had already created the prompts and everything for the newts, and I personally like readathons for the prompts. I can sometimes be a mood reader, but more often than not, I can't decide what I want to read because I have too many things I want to read. So because of that, I'm going to use the prompts that I would have done to pick out the rest of my TBR. Now, I'm not going to be like reading them in any specific order like you would have if you were doing the readathon, and I know in future readathons that she's going to be doing, she's going to be changing it up completely, which I appreciate. However, I did want to just sort of preface this saying that I didn't make up these prompts myself, but I do want to use them, or at least some of them. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to finish all of this next month, but I want to be able to use some of them to pick up books I might not necessarily have picked up right away. So one of the prompts is to read a humorous book. I'm going to be going with All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is a Tor novella about Murderbot. The main character in this series is Murderbot. I think it's an AI, I don't fully know, but I've heard it's actually quite like hilarious and sarcastic, and so I'm very excited to read it. It is a novella, so it shouldn't be very long to read, and I do have quite a few of them on my Kindle because Tor was doing like a giveaway thing a couple months ago, so I have them. Then there is a prompt to read a manga. I've been trying to read a manga every month lately anyway, so I have Become You Volume 1 by Ichiko Takano. I just finished the entirety of Dream and Sun by Ichiko Takano in July, and so I figured, hey, why not try the other series that she has written that I haven't read. I've already read Orange, I've read Dream and Sun, now we have Become You. So this one, I don't fully know what it's about, but it says, Taiyu is a high school musician with dreams of stardom, but when his bandmates quit in order to focus on school, it feels like Taiyu's dreams are slipping away. In an act of desperation, Taiyu strong-arms his sullen classmate Hikari into forming a band with him. The two boys are total opposites, but together they might just be able to create something amazing. Okay. I mean, I bought it because I was excited for it, and I like Ichiko Takano, so, I'm very excited to read this one. Then we have a prompt to read a horror/thriller book. And for that I have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is the Literally Dead book club pick for August. I have been meaning to join the Literally Dead book club. I follow them on Goodreads and Instagram, and I just haven't done it yet. However, I'm actually very excited for this one. I have read 2 other Riley Sager books and gave them both 4 stars. I read Final Girls and The Last Time I Lied, so I'm still missing Lock Every Door, but I'm gonna get to that one. and I'm actually very excited for this one. Because it is a thriller, I don't look too far into this, but from what I understand, it's some sort of like haunted house type story, but I believe the father of our main character also wrote a book, and it's interspersed with book chapters. So I don't know much else about it, but I'm very excited to read it. The Literally Dead Book Club is run by Kayla from Books and Lala, so I will leave that stuff linked down below as well. Then we have a prompt to read a book with demons or a water type theme. And for this one, I have Monster of Elendhaven by Jennifer Giesbrecht. This is another Tor novella, so should be hopefully very quick to get through, but it does have some sort of monster that comes to this seaside town, and I don't know much else about it, and because it's a novella, I don't really want to like read too much more into it, but it seems like monsters, demons should, you know, fit together pretty well. And then it is a town set near the ocean, so I think this works. Then we have a prompt to read an epic fantasy, and I'm already planning on reading Sword of Kaigen by Emma Wong, so that's the one we're fitting in here. Then we have a prompt to read a book with flowers on the cover, and for that one I'm going with Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I mean, I know we don't have a ton of flowers on the cover, but we do have a couple there, and then we have one on the back. I read Burn Our Bodies Down by her as an e-arc in June, gave it 3 out of 5 stars, wasn't my favorite. However, again, I'm going to mention Kayla from Books and Lala. She also read Burn Our Bodies Down recently and gave it a very similar score because some of the stuff worked, some of it didn't. And I feel like her reasoning was very similar to my reasoning, and she loved this, and I just haven't picked it up yet. So I feel like I'm hopeful that I'm gonna like this a little bit more than Burn Our Bodies Down. I heard this is a little bit weirder, or maybe a lot weirder, and it has body horror, and it's also supposed to be a little bit like Lord of the Flies, which I actually really liked. It's one of the classics I actually do like. And so I'm just very excited to read this and see exactly what it's all about. Then there's a prompt to read a book with sky in the title or on the cover, and for that one I'm going with Chilling Effect. I mean, can you get any more sky than this? Then there's a prompt to read a book with an author name that starts with D, and this could be either first or last name, and since it's already on my TBR here, we're going to be going with Hope Volume 1 by Dirk Manning. The only other prompt that I have here that I don't actually know about a book for is to read a book set in winter. I am horrible with knowing seasons of books. I just don't remember that kind of stuff about books, synopses, or things that I've heard about books. So if you guys know any books set in winter, leave them down below. Otherwise, I will have to figure that out later if I even decide to do that prompt. Then, before I forget, I also have 3 NetGalley arcs that I want to complete by the end of August because they're coming out around September. One is going to be Scritch Scratch by Lindsay Curry. This is going to be a horror, thriller, mystery, middle grade. It says, Claire has absolutely no interest in the paranormal. She's a scientist, which is why she can't think of anything worse than having to help out her dad on one of his ghost-themed Chicago bus tours. She thinks she's made it through when she sees a boy with a sad face and dark eyes on the back of the bus. There's something off about his presence, especially because when she checks at the end of the tour, he's gone. Claire tries to brush it off. She must be imagining things, letting her dad's ghost stories get the best of her. But then the scratching starts. Voices whisper to her in the dark. The number 396 appears everywhere she turns, and the boy with the dark eyes starts following her. Claire is being haunted. The boy from the bus wants something, and Claire needs to find out what before it's too late. I'm very excited for this. August is moving into that like spooky autumn season, and I'm living for it. Then there's also The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. I believe this is an adult horror. I could be wrong and it could be YA, but Christina Henry's usually an adult author. When the bodies of 2 girls are found torn apart in the town of Smith's Hollow, Lauren is surprised, but she also expects that the police won't find the killer. After all, the year before, her father's body was found with his heart missing, and since then, everyone has moved on. Even her best friend Miranda has become more interested in boys than in spending time at the old ghost tree, the way they used to when they were kids. So when Lauren has a vision of a monster dragging the remains of the girls through the woods, she knows she can't just do nothing, not like the rest of her town. But as she draws closer to answers, she realizes that the foundation of her seemingly normal town might be rotten at the center, and that if nobody else stands for the missing, she will. According to this, my feelings on this, let's say, it almost sounds like it could be YA based on the age group of our main character. However, I guess it really depends on how horror-filled this book is, but I am ready to read it no matter what. Then we have An Unnatural Life by Aaron K. Wagner. And then this one also looks like it should be adult, but this one is going to be sci-fi. Ooh, Murderbot meets To Kill a Mockingbird. Intrigued already. The cybernetic organism known as 812-3 is in prison, convicted of murdering a human worker, but he claims that he did not do it. With the evidence stacked against him, his lawyer, Aya Ritzher, Ritseher, I'm gonna have to look that up, must determine grounds for an appeal and uncover the true facts of the case. But with artificial life forms having only recently been awarded legal rights on Earth, the military complex on Europa is resistant to the implementation of these same rights on the Jovian moon. Aya must battle against her own prejudices and that of her new paymasters to secure a fair trial for her charge while navigating her own interpersonal drama before it's too late. Yes, I mean, I always forget what these NetGalley books are really about because I had requested them a while ago, and sometimes it takes a while to get approved, and then the dates they're going to come out are not right away, and I want to read them closer to release. But I'm so ready to read these again just by reading the descriptions. Okay, so this is a semi-ambitious TBR for this month. I think I have like 13 books that I want to read in August, and I'm crossing my fingers, really hoping that we get to them. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I have videos up Mondays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!